The sky was quiet, too quiet. On the surface of a distant, desolate planet, the silence stretched endlessly. No birds, no wind, no signs of life, just an empty landscape bathed in dull gray light. The humans who had settled here long ago had learned to expect nothing. They survived on the barest scraps, tucked away from eyes that watched from far beyond the stars. Then, suddenly everything changed. Without warning, a shadow passed across the sky. At first, it was just a flicker, a subtle disturbance in the heavy clouds. But it grew quickly. A massive shape appeared, breaking through the atmosphere with a terrifying roar. Alien warships, sleek and menacing, descended with precision and power. The aliens believed themselves unstoppable. Their ships gleamed with technology, so advanced it looked like magic. Their armor shimmered under the harsh light, each warrior carrying weapons designed to end battles before they even began. They were confident, too confident. They called themselves the Invictus, masters of war, conquerors of worlds. They had never met an enemy they could not crush. To them, this planet was just another stepping stone, another easy victory. But below, hidden among the jagged rocks and broken ruins, the humans watched silently. They were not soldiers. They were survivors, people scarred by loss and hardship. Their weapons were crude, built from scraps and salvaged technology. Their armor was mismatched and battered. They had no grand fleets or towering machines. All they had was their will to live. The leader of the humans was a woman named Mara. Her eyes were sharp, filled with the weight of responsibility. She understood the danger they faced better than anyone. The aliens were powerful, but they were not invincible. Mara gathered her small group inside a hidden cave. "They think they own the stars," she said quietly. "But we still own this land. We have to be smart. We have to be ready." Outside, the first alien patrol landed, boots crushing the cracked soil. They moved with practiced precision, scanning for any signs of life. To them, the humans were a minor annoyance, primitive creatures to be eliminated. But the humans were not so easily found. Mara's team slipped through shadows and jagged terrain. They set traps along narrow passes and rigged abandoned technology to explode at a moment's notice. Every step was calculated. Every breath held in tense silence. The Invictus soldiers walked confidently, unaware that their every move was being watched. Their arrogance blinded them to the quiet defiance below. A low rumble echoed through the valley. Mara's heart raced. She signaled to her team. The moment had come. Suddenly, the silence shattered. Hidden traps exploded in bursts of fire and smoke. The humans attacked, not with overwhelming force, but with sharp precision. They struck quickly, then vanished into the dust and shadows. The aliens stumbled back, surprised by the unexpected resistance. For the first time, they hesitated. Mara watched from a ridge, her chest tight with tension. "They think this will be easy," she whispered. "Let them learn otherwise." The battle was just beginning. The invincible aliens had landed, but they had not yet met the humans. And humans, when cornered, fought like nothing else in the universe. The humans moved like shadows among the ruins of the old world, careful not to draw attention. Their outpost was small, hidden beneath layers of rock and dust. It was a fragile sanctuary built from memories and determination. Mara led her people with quiet strength, knowing every moment could be their last. Their weapons were simple, fashioned from broken machines and scrap metal. But what they lacked in power, they made up for with ingenuity and heart. Every tool had a purpose. Every trap was set with care. The humans had survived here by adapting, learning the land, and trusting one another. The alien patrols continued to sweep the area, their scanners probing the darkness for signs of life. They were thorough, relentless, confident that nothing could hide from their technology. But the humans knew the terrain like the back of their hands. They moved through narrow tunnels, beneath jagged cliffs, and into caves that no alien technology could penetrate. Inside the outpost, Mara gathered her small group around a flickering light. "We can't outgun them," she said softly, her voice steady but tired. "But we can outthink them. We've done it before. We have to keep doing it." Her second-in-command, a man named Eli, nodded. He was the engineer, the mind behind their makeshift weapons. "I've been working on something," he said, pulling out a small device. "It can disrupt their communications, at least for a little while. If we can cut off their orders, we can level the playing field." Mara looked at the device, then back at her team. "Good. We need every advantage we can get. But we have to be careful. One mistake and it's over." Outside, the skies were filled with alien ships scanning the horizon. They were searching for the source of the resistance, for any sign of human life. The aliens believed that once their patrols found the humans, the fight would be over. But the humans were ready. Eli and his team moved quickly, sneaking through abandoned tunnels to get close to the alien command center. They worked silently, hacking into alien systems with tools cobbled together from old technology and sheer determination. The device hummed softly, sending pulses that scrambled alien signals. Back at the outpost, Mara and the others prepared traps and barriers. Every rock, every ridge was a part of their defense. The humans had learned to use the planet itself as a weapon. When the alien patrols suddenly found their communications cut, confusion spread quickly. Commands were delayed, soldiers hesitated, and orders were missed. The once coordinated force began to falter. Seizing the moment, the humans launched a swift attack. It was not a battle of brute force, but a calculated strike designed to hit hard and disappear. They ambushed supply lines, sabotaged vehicles, and left signs that they could be anywhere. The aliens were stunned. Their invincibility was slipping away, replaced by uncertainty and fear. The humans had become ghosts, elusive and relentless. Mara watched the chaos unfold with a mixture of relief and determination. "They think they can break us," she said quietly. "But they don't know what humans are capable of when they fight for their home." The night was long and filled with tension. Every sound could be a threat, every shadow a danger. But the humans held their ground, bound by trust and the will to survive. As dawn approached, the alien forces regrouped, shaken but still dangerous. The war was far from over, but the humans had sent a message. They were not easy prey. They were fighters, and they would not back down. The air was thick with tension as the alien patrols moved cautiously through the rocky terrain. Their scanners flickered with static, still struggling to find the elusive humans who had crippled their communications. The Invictus soldiers, once brimming with confidence, now wore expressions shadowed by doubt. Mara stood atop a ridge, watching the enemy forces below. Her team had prepared carefully for this moment. They knew the aliens' arrogance was their greatest weakness. They moved like giants blind to the traps hidden beneath their feet. The humans didn't fight like warriors trained for glory. They fought like survivors, using every ounce of their wits and grit to stay alive. Every ambush was precise, every retreat calculated. The terrain was their ally. Narrow passes funneled the enemy. Caves offered shelter and secrecy, and jagged rocks became barriers. One of Mara's scouts, a young man named Jonas, returned with urgent news. "They're setting up a forward base near the canyon edge. They're trying to regain control." Mara nodded, her jaw tightening. "We can't let them settle. If they build a stronghold, we lose our advantage." She called her team together. We strike tonight. We hit them before they're ready. The humans moved like shadows again. As night fell, they slipped silently toward the alien encampment. Their weapons were quiet, their movements practiced. They avoided patrols, navigating through the maze of rocks and ruins. When they reached the edge of the alien base, Mara signaled. The team spread out, planting explosives and hacking alien equipment. Eli's disruption device continued to scramble enemy communications, sowing chaos inside the base. Suddenly, an alarm blared. The aliens had detected the intrusion. Gunfire erupted in the darkness, sharp and sudden. The humans took cover, returning fire with makeshift rifles and scavenged energy weapons. The battle was close and brutal. Mara moved quickly, coordinating her team. "Hit the generators," she shouted. "Disable their lights." They charged toward the power stations, dodging alien blasts. Explosions rocked the base as they destroyed the generators, plunging the area into darkness. Confusion swept through the alien soldiers. Without power, their advanced weapons and scanners were useless. The humans pressed their advantage, striking with relentless determination. In the chaos, Mara confronted an alien commander. He was taller and stronger, armored in shimmering plates that reflected the dim light. They faced each other, a moment suspended between fear and defiance. "You cannot win," the commander said coldly. "We are invincible." Mara's eyes burned with quiet fury. "You've never met us before." With that, she fired, forcing the commander to retreat. The humans withdrew into the night, their mission a success. The alien base was crippled, their hold on the area broken. But the victory came at a cost. Several of Mara's team were injured, and the aliens would be more cautious now. Back at the outpost, the mood was somber but resolute. Mara treated wounds, checked supplies, and planned their next moves. The aliens would regroup, stronger and more prepared. But the humans had sent a message. They were not just survivors. They were a force that could not be ignored. Mara stood beneath the stars, thinking of the battles ahead. The Invictus believed they were unstoppable. They believed they could conquer any world with their technology and strength. They had never faced humans like these. Humans who fought not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Humans who refused to give up. The war was far from over, but the balance was shifting, and the humans were ready. Dark clouds churned overhead as lightning flickered in the distance. The planet's harsh winds whipped through the rocky valleys, carrying dust and the faint scent of burning metal. The battle between humans and aliens had escalated, each side pushing harder, testing limits. Mara stood on a jagged cliff, her gaze fixed on the horizon. The alien fleet's arrival had changed everything. Their advanced weapons screamed through the air, cutting through rock and flesh alike. Yet, despite the overwhelming firepower, the humans held fast. The invincible Invictus now faced something they had not prepared for: relentless defiance. The humans moved in small, coordinated squads, striking fast and disappearing into the labyrinth of caves and crevices. Each encounter was a brutal game of cat and mouse. The aliens unleashed waves of energy blasts, but the humans were nimble, weaving through narrow passages the heavy armored soldiers could not follow. Eli adjusted his hacked communication device, catching garbled alien transmissions. "They're frustrated," he said grimly. "Orders are conflicting. They don't know who's in charge." Mara nodded. "Good. Confusion is their weakness." A sudden explosion rocked the valley below. The humans had triggered one of their hidden traps, a makeshift bomb crafted from salvaged alien tech. The blast sent shockwaves through the alien ranks, knocking soldiers off balance. The Invictus commander bellowed orders, but his voice was drowned out by chaos. Soldiers scrambled, trying to regroup, but the humans pressed their advantage. They attacked supply convoys, sabotaged vehicles, and picked off isolated patrols. The alien superior armor offered protection, but the humans exploited every flaw. They targeted joints, ventilation systems, anything vulnerable beneath the sleek exteriors. Amid the turmoil, Mara's squad engaged in a fierce firefight near a narrow canyon. The sharp crack of energy rifles echoed off the stone walls. Mara's heart pounded as she fired, ducking behind cover just in time to avoid a blast. Nearby, Jonas tackled an alien soldier, wrestling to disable his weapon. The fight was close, brutal, raw survival stripped of glory. "We need to fall back," Mara shouted. "Regroup at the ridge." But the humans did not retreat easily. They covered each other's backs, moving as one through the chaos. Every life saved was a victory in itself. As night fell, the battle slowed to sporadic skirmishes. The humans slipped into hidden tunnels, tending wounds and sharing whispered plans. The alien forces, battered and confused, consolidated in scattered groups. Mara's voice broke the silence. "This fight isn't just about weapons. It's about endurance, about heart." She looked around at her weary team, their faces marked by sweat, dirt, and determination. "We've come too far to lose now." The storm above rumbled, as if echoing her words. The Invictus would come again, stronger, more prepared. But the humans had already changed the rules. They had shown that technology was not everything, that courage, strategy, and the will to survive could turn the tide. And as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Mara knew this was only the beginning of a war that would test everything they had. But for now, they had won a moment of peace, and they would use it to fight harder. The planet's harsh winds whispered secrets through the jagged canyons as Mara and her team prepared for what could be their most daring move yet. Supplies were low and wounds still raw, but they had learned one undeniable truth. Survival depended on more than courage. It required invention. Eli's small workshop buzzed with activity. Fragments of alien technology lay scattered on metal tables, pieces once meant for destruction, now reimagined for defense. He worked tirelessly, adjusting circuits and rewiring power cells with the precision of a master craftsman. Every broken device was a puzzle, every scrap a potential advantage. "We don't have the firepower to match theirs head-on," Eli explained quietly to Mara. "But we can hit them where it hurts." Their systems rely heavily on communication and coordination. If we disrupt that, their strength crumbles. Mara nodded, the weight of their situation pressing down on her. "We'll need more than just gadgets. We have to turn the environment into a weapon." The humans had already mastered the terrain. They moved like shadows, disappearing into narrow crevices and deep caves. They used the planet's unpredictable weather and rugged landscape to their advantage, setting traps in places no alien machine could reach. Tonight, they planned to strike not at the front lines, but at the heart of the alien operation, their command center buried within the ancient ruins. It was heavily guarded, surrounded by energy barriers and patrols, but disabling it could cripple the alien fleet's control over the battlefield. The team gathered under the cover of darkness, faces lit only by faint starlight. Mara spoke in hushed tones. "This mission is dangerous. We don't expect to come back unscathed. But if we succeed, we buy ourselves time. Time to fight another day." Eli handed out small devices, humming softly with energy. "These will jam their sensors and scramble communications. Plant them carefully." The humans moved like ghosts, weaving silently through the rocky valleys. Every step was measured, every breath controlled. The air was thick with anticipation. As they approached the ruins, the alien patrols grew thicker, their armor gleaming under faint moonlight. The humans used shadows and silence, slipping past guards and avoiding detection. When patrols came too close, they froze, holding their breath until danger passed. Reaching the command center, Mara signaled to Eli. He quickly attached a jamming device to the outer wall. A soft pulse radiated outward, and immediately the alien sensors flickered and died. Inside, confusion erupted. Alarms blared, and alien soldiers scrambled to understand the disruption. Commands were lost or delayed. Chaos spread through the ranks. Seizing the moment, Mara and her team launched their attack. They struck swiftly, disabling power generators and sabotaging control panels. Explosions shook the ruins, sending clouds of dust and debris into the cold night air. The aliens fought back fiercely, their energy weapons lighting up the darkness. But the humans were relentless. They knew the stakes. Every second they delayed the alien fleet's response was a victory. Amid the chaos, Mara faced an alien commander once again. He was furious, his voice laced with disbelief. "You humans are nothing but pests." Mara met his gaze without fear. "We're survivors, and we won't stop." With a final burst of effort, the humans retreated into the night, their mission a success. The alien command center was crippled, their control fractured. Back at the outpost, hope flickered in weary eyes. The Invictus were powerful, but not infallible. The humans had shown they could adapt, innovate, and fight on their own terms. Mara looked to the sky, where distant alien ships hovered uncertainly. The war was far from over, but the humans had reclaimed a small, vital piece of the fight. And as the wind howled through the canyons, it carried a message, one of resistance, resilience, and unyielding spirit. The battle was not just for survival. It was for the future of humanity itself. The alien fleet had grown restless. The Invictus commanders huddled in their warships, their voices sharp with frustration. The humans were no longer a nuisance. They had become a threat. The once confident invaders now faced a resistance that chipped away at their control piece by piece. Mara stood in the dim light of the outpost, eyes scanning the horizon. The distant hum of enemy ships reminded her that the fight was far from over. But the humans had something no alien technology could replicate, an unbreakable will. "We've delayed them," Mara said quietly to her team. "But they'll come back stronger." Eli adjusted his communications device, fingers trembling slightly. "Our jamming tech won't hold for long. They're already trying to repair systems." "We need a new plan," Mara said. "Something bold. Something they won't expect." The humans had survived by outthinking the aliens. Now, they had to outmaneuver them. Mara called her trusted scouts together. It's time to take the fight to them. The plan was daring, a strike deep into the heart of the alien fleet supply line. If they could cut off fuel and ammunition, the Invictus forces would be crippled, forced to retreat or face defeat. Under the cover of darkness, the humans prepared. Weapons were checked, devices charged, and every movement practiced until it was second nature. The terrain was unforgiving, but familiarity gave them an edge. Mara's squad moved silently across rocky ridges and through dense caverns, using every shadow to hide their advance. The alien patrols had increased, but so had the humans' resolve. As they approached the supply depot, Eli set up a portable jammer to block communication. Explosives were carefully placed on fuel containers and ammo stores. Suddenly, a patrol appeared. The humans froze, hearts pounding. The alien soldiers moved slowly, scanning the area. Mara signaled to hold. The patrol passed, oblivious to the danger lurking nearby. With the coast clear, the team completed their sabotage. Explosives primed, they slipped back into the shadows. A single detonator pressed, and the night exploded in fire. Flames engulfed the supply depot, sending shockwaves through the alien fleet. The once orderly ranks erupted into chaos. Alien commanders shouted orders, but confusion ruled. The humans struck again and again, sabotaging critical points across the supply lines. The Invictus forces were forced to halt their advance. Without fuel and ammunition, their machines slowed. Their confidence faltered. But the battle was not won. The aliens regrouped quickly, bringing reinforcements and adapting their tactics. Mara's team fought fiercely in the ensuing skirmishes. Every encounter tested their endurance and spirit. Yet, the humans never wavered. Amid the chaos, Mara reflected on what made her people different. It wasn't strength or technology. It was something deeper: resilience, hope, and the refusal to surrender. The war was brutal and unrelenting, but it revealed a truth the Invictus could not understand. Humans did not give up, and no matter how tough the enemy, they would always fight back. As dawn broke, Mara looked toward the sky. The invincible aliens had been shaken. The humans were no longer just survivors. They were warriors, and the battle for their future was far from over. But one thing was clear: the humans had become a force to be reckoned with, and they were ready for whatever came next. The alien commanders gathered in their flagship, voices tense and sharp. The Invictus had never faced such fierce resistance. Each strike by the humans chipped away at their strength, unraveling their plans and shaking their confidence. Mara stood at the edge of the outpost, watching the alien ships hover uncertainly in the sky. Their weapons were powerful, but the humans' resolve was fiercer than any energy blast. They fought not just for survival, but for the hope of a future. The humans had learned to anticipate every move, turning the planet's rugged terrain into a maze of traps and ambush points. They had no grand fleets or advanced weapons, but their courage and cleverness made them unpredictable. "We can't keep running," Mara told her team. "We need to strike where it hurts the most, the command ships themselves." The plan was dangerous. The Invictus command vessels were heavily guarded, orbiting high above the planet. But if the humans could breach their defenses, they could disrupt the entire alien operation. Eli worked on a new device, small but deadly, a signal disruptor powerful enough to scramble the alien sensors and disable their shields temporarily. "This is our best shot," he said, "but we'll only get one chance." Mara's team prepared with grim determination. They gathered supplies, checked weapons, and said quiet goodbyes to those who might not return. Under the cloak of darkness, the humans launched their assault. They climbed the cliffs to reach the hidden launch sites, using stolen alien crafts to reach orbit. The stolen ships were unstable, unfamiliar, but the humans had no choice. The journey through the void was tense. Every second brought them closer to the heart of the alien fleet. Mara's hands gripped the controls tightly, her mind sharp and focused. As they approached the command ships, alarms blared. Alien defenses activated, firing beams of light that sliced through the dark space. The stolen ships shook, systems failing one by one. Mara's team fought back with every resource they had. Eli activated the disruptor, sending a pulse that rippled through the enemy shields. For a brief moment, the command ships were vulnerable. The humans struck quickly, planting explosives and sabotaging key systems. Explosions rocked the flagship, sending sparks and debris into the void. The aliens retaliated fiercely, but the humans were relentless. They moved through the corridors like shadows, disabling weapons and communications. Mara faced an alien commander in the heart of the ship. The two stood face to face, the tension between them crackling in the air. "You will not stop us," the commander hissed. Mara's voice was steady. "You underestimated us." That was your greatest mistake. With swift precision, she disabled his weapon and signaled her team to retreat. The command ships were crippled. The alien fleet's coordination collapsed, confusion spreading like wildfire. Back on the planet, the humans cheered. They had struck a blow that no one expected, a reminder that even the mightiest could fall. But the victory was bittersweet. The cost was high, and the war was far from over. Mara looked to the stars, knowing the Invictus would return. Stronger, angrier, more determined. Yet she also knew this. Humanity had proven its strength. Not in technology, but in spirit. And that spirit would burn brighter than any star. The fight for their world was only just beginning. The silence after the battle was almost surreal. The once unstoppable Invictus fleet now drifted aimlessly above the planet, their systems crippled and their morale shattered. But Mara knew better than to celebrate too soon. War was never truly over, and enemies with such pride would always find a way to return. Back on the rugged surface, the human survivors gathered in the fading twilight. Faces worn from endless fighting, eyes hardened by loss, but hearts burning with hope. They were not soldiers of an empire or pawns of some grand strategy. They were people fighting for their home, for their future. Mara stood before them, her voice steady and filled with resolve. We've won a great battle, but the war isn't finished. The Invictus will come back, but now they know they are not invincible. They will fear us. They will respect us. Her words sparked a flicker of courage that had never truly died. The humans had faced impossible odds and emerged stronger, not because of superior weapons, but because of unyielding will and unity. In the weeks that followed, the humans rebuilt their defenses, learned from their mistakes, and prepared for whatever lay ahead. Eli's technology became more sophisticated, melding alien tech with human ingenuity. Every day was a lesson in survival and adaptation. Mara often found herself gazing at the stars, wondering what future awaited them. Would peace ever come? Or was this just the beginning of an endless fight? Then one night, as the twin moons cast a silver glow across the rocky landscape, a message came through, unexpected, unannounced. The Invictus, battered and beaten, sought parley. It was a shock to many, but Mara understood. The aliens were proud but not blind. They recognized strength when they saw it. The meeting was tense. Two species, once enemies, now facing each other with cautious eyes. The Invictus commander spoke of a truce, a chance to rebuild and learn from each other rather than destroy. Mara listened carefully. She saw opportunity but remained wary. "Trust is earned, not given," she replied. "But we are willing to listen." The days that followed marked the beginning of a fragile alliance. The humans shared knowledge and stories. The aliens revealed secrets of their technology and culture. Mutual respect grew, born not from friendship, but from a hard-earned understanding. Years passed. The planet, once scarred by war, began to heal. Humans and Invictus worked side by side, exploring new horizons and pushing the boundaries of what either race thought possible. Mara's legacy endured, not as a warrior who defeated invaders, but as a leader who forged peace from conflict. The invincible aliens had met their match, not in battle alone, but in the enduring spirit of humanity. And in that spirit, the true victory was found.